There's a situation in your head. There's a situation in your head.
There's a situation in your head, shutting around people's windows down. Praises to those who will spot us as clothes, hidden no weapon for the shoes, be plastic enough for the poor nigga dare speak about. I'm not a two language but one. Three faces, not one, or a quarter for the bow, for the never to have the city town alone. For the invisible spaces to tell me how do I return. Night for the patient moon. Your doorkeepers are asking for the proof that I live here, watching for the voices that mocking the wandering toad. The vigilantes are simply admiring their righteous claws. Who stand after the forward to be water for the mess of this, to be the midnight of the job for the isn't it, for the meaning for the home, for the all that you find a channel for the meeting of the boom, tear for the whisper. Take me now. Wait for me to find out the answer to carry that grasshopper home. I want to find a hello flowers and cigarettes to every afternoon, spoken to the bird for the smallest set of hands, and gone into the pond and I slept. Who seems to be doing something nicely, which made them drowsy enough for the grace and share beautiful moments so that you can find the streets and hello flowers and cigarettes cordially invited for the employment contract, but there is at least too many. And if I wanted to say most of it would be lost in saying. All of the lines running slightly aslant the clouds and white horse grazing and wherever you could look for the gazing upon the lifting for the wind, for the rippling in the water, for the hot curtain over the atmosphere, the last hunger to rest just settles and sparrows are born that earthen pot for the you can find a cone on the head, beetles this and falling if someone had to put it down there for the viewing. That is just for the pine cones and what you're flying around about. Things that fall from the children was never learned to be across that valley for the grown between them for the owner to read, and just because of only I can find a time to make for the student and fire lit. Not to know the pencil, but I don't know how the spelling goes, and how the only eraser is still for the page begin to tear like a crowd, cloud, or pale, or hazel sky, or cloud. Yo, education keeps going. Child speaks the alphabet through the years. And although the beauties of grief and the violent enough for the white gunner both for them, you can find the southern braided hair, you can find the morning for the cluster of the grapes, and you can find the middle whenever you find the voice of the truth and breaking away for the hearts and stones and the feet. Are like heavy walking for the path and full of swift river flowing, eroding for the banks and distance continuous. I find the desire to gentle. Unkind for the days of the years of the boat for talk by the giant down the hill, but we must climb sudden enough for the blue. First, I was a snake in love with her, for the sleeve was a motive. After that, for the motive of the turtle, for that you could find it down for the shell of the years and sprouting over the fur for the love of the you could find the savannah for the air, for the land beneath that changing there. I could find the meeting with the falling in love of the new and she speed. Left behind and not change. Wherever you are, we're the same. Individualistic to speak in an idle word, heartbroken enough to feel hate for this and hate her. Left in the middle for the sometimes impassionate lovemaking that had no idea for the lives. There's so many for the living, the one be like taking no breaks for rebirth, asking to settle like a mosquito to the man. Sometimes that vision of progress is so fast that blessings and curses are mixed up in one. There's a situation. 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 Shutting around people's windows. It's just to those who while this is closed. Plastic enough for the poor nigga to speak about. I'm not so miserable. Three faces now, a quarter for the bow, never just have a city town. Physical spaces to tell me how do I return. Night for the patient. Doorkeepers are asking for the proof that I live here, watching for the voices that mocking the wandering toad. Vigilantes are simply admiring the righteous claws. Who stand after the forward to be water for the mess of this, and the midnight of the job for the isn't for the meaning for the home, find a channel for the tear for the whisper. Flowers and cigarettes and every afternoon spoken to the birds with a small set of hands and gone to who seems to be doing something nicely, which made them drowsy enough for the grace and share beautiful moments so that you can find the streets and hello flowers and cigarettes cordially invited for the employment contract, but there is at least too many. Find the same most of you lost the same.
Yes.
All of the lines running slightly aslant and clouds and white horse grazing the river and left for the maze and upon the lifting for the wind, for the rippling in the water for the hot curtain over the atmosphere, the last hunger to rest just settles and sparrows are born that earthen pot for the you can find the cone on the head, beetles this and falling if someone had to put it down for the doing. Just
It's a fall for the children. Me across that battlefield room between the cars. That's because I can find the condiment for the swinging fire religion. Not the pencil, but I don't know how to spell it. So now the only erase for the still for the page begin to tear like a crowd. Cloud, pale, a piece of blue sky, cloud. Education.
I told the moon about it.
Child speaks the down for death and tears. And although the beauty is brief and violent enough for the white thunderbolt for the you can find the sudden braided hair, you can find the morning for the cluster of the grapes, and you can find the middle whenever it comes for the hungry voice of the children breaking away for the heart for the stones in the feet are like heavy walking for the path and full of swift river flowing eroding for the banks and distance tenuous. I find the desire to gentle. Unkind for the days of the years of the boat for talk by the journey down the hill when we must climb sudden enough at the blue. First, I was a snake in love with her for the sleep was motive. After that, for the motivated hurdle for the you could find her down for the shell. The years and sprouting over the fur for the love of the you could find the savannah for the air for the land beneath that changing air. I could find the meeting with the falling in the love of the new and she speed. Left behind and not change. Where they are when we're the same. Individualistic to speak in an hour word heartbroken enough to full of hate for this and that. Hate her for the left in the middle for the sometimes impassioned love making that had no idea for the love. There's so many for the living and the one be like taking no breaks for rebirth, asking that to suck like a mosquito to the man. Sometimes the evolution and progress is so fast that blessings and the curses are mixed up in one.
In an endless curvature. In an endless curvature. You can see that song. In the decibels and you'll find the name. Striking after deep. Law for the slow, road for the insisting. Whether or not you could sail, or well as not to be. Road at dawn, for the tulip with the poem born. Maybe it was the dawn for the always the space-time loaded for the cancellation to be back for the glimpse. This would be the shore for the thin line, the air back for the it was always the promise and pro. Rose diverge, call that for the weight of the words. Had we to pry open that mouth. Demand defeats for those who find the great. Perform man for the easily accomplished and great God. Mounted still for the casting of huge shadows and dim walls and crows and fast and crash in front of the sky. And everything's happening off stage. Then you can find that truth and you can sing that song. And I told you how it would be the woman that over you stop laughing then. White man, find your twilight. Electrifying and handling that to be the paradox for the longest in language, and you can unmake yourself as a slave. It was a sentiment enough to rule for just to be the cause, and because after you had the men to look down upon, such a kindness is straight to your eyes, that the warrior such to be down enough for the climax, you can find a verse. Since the way before, like seeks all to the pleasure. How to make time for the moving, not the moving it, and it would have the time for the palm of your hand, for the made, for the dirt, for the popular, for the deity, for the elephants, the broad tussing half a trunk, and you can find the least of the good love of it, depending on what side it points to send an idol for that you go at your desk. At all times for the ancient names, and what you will call home for the shape of the fire, the altar, the independent for the time for the end temple, is an offering made to gods, and giving them by home for the ember for the realization for the heaven to be achieved for the draining of your wealth and strength. Another building up rampage, conquer that for the campaign. Used to say, draw a straight line across the map. You could find the architect for the connection with the fact, and often it was the queen, and for the instances for your own gardens built. You had that mother or father. I write to you in script, spec up at the time. Write to the language of a poet who never chanted after her. I quote those, which are laminated for the songs, or praises for the warnings, or laminates for that beam over your skin for the tongue and high hail. It's about television screens and news printing. The man with the megaphone. In an endless curvature, you can see that song. In the decibels and you'll find the name, striking after deep. Law for the slow, roll for the insisting, whether or not you could sell, or well is not to be. World at dawn, for the tulip of the poem born. Maybe it was the dawn for the always the space-time noted for the cancellation to be back for the glimpse. This would be the shore for the thin line, the air back for the it was always the promise and pro. Rose average, call that for the weight of the words. Had we to pry open that mouth. Demand the feats for those who find the great. Perform man for the easily accomplished and great God. Bound still for the casting of huge shadows and dim walls and crows and fast and crash in front of the sky. And everything's happened off stage. Then you can find that truth and you can sing that song. And I told you how it would be the woman that over you stop laughing then. White man, find your twilight. Electrifying and handily that to be the paradox for the longest in language, and you can unmake yourself as a slave. It was a sentiment enough to rule for just to be the cause, and because that we had the men to look down upon such a kindness straight to your eyes, that the warrior such to be down enough for the climax, you can find a verse. Since the way before, like seeks all to the pleasure. How to make time for the movie, not the moving it, and it would have time for the palm of your hand, for the maid, for the dirt, for the popular, for the deity, for the elephants abroad, tussling half a trunk, and you can find the least of the good love of it, depending on what side it points to send an idol for that you go at your desk. At all time for the ancient names, in which you will call home for the shape of the fire, the altar, the independent for the time for the end temple, is an offering made to gods, and giving them by home for the ember, for the realization, for the oven to be achieved, for the draining of your wealth and strength. Another building up rampage, conquer that for the campaign. Used to say, draw a straight line across the map. You could find the architect for the connection with the fact, and often it was the queen, for the instance for the own gardens built. You had that mother or father. I write to you in script, spec up with the time. Write to the language of a poet who never chanted after. I quote those, which are laminated for the songs, or praises for the warnings, or laminates for that beam over your skin for the tongue and high haven. It's about television screens and news printing. The man with the megaphone. What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the home recall. Streak of the fire from the thin wire in your memory of mine. What line from which poet? You looking down for the quiz. My car for the cliff, the coming for the corrugated, the hunting the banks. You hand that for the rolling off the elephant, back for the treating that for the riverbed like a line. Spread on the diagonal across that current. You find it slowing down through life, not to be bumbled, mumbled prayers, this slow roll, cynical. This will be the prayer drum, mysterious stars, day or night for the shifting of what you can find. Don't remember where they're dripping and deep. Word, leaf, holistic and a halfway. Never ending that for the tree of knowledge. Your eyes, I remember for the brightest of wonderful, just looking different. Seen that for the senator, for the outside, the devil, keep it like mumble. And I hate that. I for the sad, isn't it? Spyglass getting haze and the code of the peeping in the mist. The melancholy to gone, enough for the words of the past. Memory sabotage, memory just to be the subverting of the past, and I ain't finding that. So put it down, across with the sky. Summer bluff, the barely bright enough for the beauty. I find it whispering in your arms. Cannabis overhead or lay blind after the beloved. I tell you bit over the spaces between after the distance will be confused. This and always be there. Ample for the square, they're intricate. The wall, the voice, and uncertain trickling in down the knowledge of the syllable for the dissipated anonymous for the marble for the vastness and kiss me. I call you what to declare. Anywhere for the eye can find that for the name after it. Tricked, flat, float. This to be the subject. What's that lights up like a light bulb? What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the own green car. Streak the fire for the thin wire. Your memory of mine. What line from which poet? You looking down for the quiz. Car for the cliff, the cone, you coming for the cubicated, the hot in the banks. You can have that for the rolling off the elephant back for the treating that for the river bed like a mine. Shredding the diagonal across that curve. You find it slowing down the life, not to be mumble prayers, these slow rolls, cynical. Listen to the prayer drums, staring stars, stare night for the shifting of what you can find. Don't remember the dripping and deep word. Leaf, holistic in the halfway. Never ending that for the tree of knowledge. Your eyes, I remember from the brightest of window for just lit enough for the room. Seen that for the senator for the outside, the nothing to be the light woman. I hate that, man. That for the sad, isn't it? The spyglass getting haze, and the code of the people in the mist. The melancholy gone, enough for the word for the past. Memory sabotage, memory just to be the subverting the past. I find that. Put it down, close with the sky. Summer blood for the baby, bright enough for the poem. I find it whispering in your arms. Cannabis overhead or lay blind after the beloved. I told you beat over the spaces between after the dismal to be confessed. This and always be there. Ample for the square, they're intricate. But through the wall of the voice and uncertain trickling in down the knowledge of the syllable for the disputed timeless for the marble for the vastness and kiss me. I call you what to declare. Anywhere for the eye can find that for the name after it. Tricked, flat, float. This be the memory for the art. You find the lightning and death. The water for the love, long for the water. Whales and this be the core. Crumbling to the depth and what you can find the ship with the ink for the green for the infinite sins. What's the point supposed to be about for the ink scribbling the weight of the body? What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the own green call. Streak at the fire for the thin wire. Your memory with mine. What line from which poet? You looking down for the quiz. Our car for the cliff for the cone and coming for the cubicated, the hot in the banks. You can have that for the rolling off the elephant back for the treating that for the riverbed like a mine. Tread on the diagonal across that curve. You find slowing down the life not to be mumble prayers, this slow roll cynical. This will be the prayer drum, mysterious stars, stare night for the shifting and for what you can find. Don't remember with the dripping and deep word. Leaf, holistic in the halfway. Never ending that for the tree of knowledge. Your eyes, I remember from the brightest of window for just lit enough for the room. Seen that for the senator for the outside, the left to be the black woman. And I hate that, man. And that for the sad, isn't it? Spyglass getting haze, and the code of the peeping in the mist, the melancholy to gone, enough for the word for the past. Memory sabotaging, memory just to be the subverting your past, and I find that. So put it down, across from the sky, summer blood for the barely dried enough for the I find it whispering in your arms. Enemies overhead in play, blind after the beloved. I told you people in the spaces between after this will be a fuss, and this will always be the apple for the square building. The wall of the voice and uncertain trickling down the knowledge of the syllable for the disputed anonymous for the marble for the vastness and kiss me. I call you what to declare. Anywhere for the eye can find that for the name after it. Tricked, flat, float. This be the memory for the art can find the lightning and dead in the water for the love, long for the water. Whales and this be the core. Crumbling to the depth and what you can find the ship with the ink for the green for the infinite sins. What's the point supposed to be about for the ends curving of road of the body? What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the own green call. Streak at the fire for the thin wire. Your memory with mine. What line from which poet? You looking down for the quiz. Our car for the cliff for the cone and coming for the cubicated, the hot in the banks. You can have that for the rolling off the elephant back for the treating that for the riverbed like a mine. Tread on the diagonal across that curve. You find slowing down the life not to be mumble prayers, this slow roll cynical. This will be the prayer drum, mysterious stars, stare night for the shifting of what you can find. Don't remember with the dripping and deep word. Leaf, holistic in the halfway. Never ending that for the tree of knowledge. Your eyes, I remember from the brightest of window for just living in the room. Seen that for the senator for the outside, the left for the black woman. And I hate that, man. That for the sad, isn't it? Spyglass getting haze, and the code of the evening in the mist, and the melancholy to gone, enough for the word for the past. Memory sabotaging, memory just to be the subverting your past, and I find that. So put it down, across from the sky, summer blood for the barely dried enough for the be a poem. What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the own green call. Streak at the fire for the thin wire. Your memory with mine. What line from which poet? You looking down for the quiz? Or a car for the cliff for the cone and coming for the corrugated out in the banks. You can have that for the rolling off the elephant, back for the tweet and after the riverbed like a mine. It's running you diagonal across that curve. You find it slowing down through life, not to be mumble prayers. This slow roll, sitting, listen to the prayer drum, staring stars, stare night for the shifting of the roots. You can find it, don't remember the dripping of the word. Leaf, holistic in the halfway. Never hating that for the tree of knowledge. In your eyes, I remember for the brightest and for just enough for the woman. Seen that for the senator for the outside, the death will be the black woman. And I hate that man. Guy for the sad. Spyglass getting haze. The code of the people in the mist. Melancholy to dawn, enough for the work for the past. Memories that without you, memory this will be the suburb of the past, and I find that. So put it down, across from the sky. Summer bluff for the baby, right enough for the unicorn. I find it whispering in your arms.
What's that lights up like a light bulb? Filaments of the own recall. Streak of the fire with the thin wire, your memory, mine.